As a new and a young entrepreneur who just embarked on a new business journey of selling celebration treats, I am here to learn and find ways on how I can use my creativity to build something that's truly my own. I am here to learn about market expansions, understand financial management, gain practical insights, and learn about networking opportunities. To have an achievable business plan, a clear financial roadmap, and build relationships with other entrepreneurs and potential partners who will support my business journey. Come, let me take you guys through with me.
Don.
Yes.
Oh, King Don for the show.
Good afternoon, and thank you. My question is, I've heard you mention you don't like therapy.
Hey, sir.
And to some level, and to some level, you like Entertain's psychology of empowerment, which we know it doesn't embrace emotions that much. So, can you say, or maybe, how are you emotionally available?
Oh,
To what extent? As a young man, I want to know that.
Jason. I don't like formalized therapy. Number one, because the psychology programs in this country borrow from the West, which means even a black psychologist in this country is going to follow a textbook of how white people believe a person should heal. And I think as Africans, we need a different type of therapy. So I don't like formal therapy. You go to those people, they ask you questions, you answer, then they come up with some program, then you follow up next week. It's not natural for me and I don't like it. And it's very judgmental. You can't go to your therapist and be like, yes, sis, I want to kill my wife. They'll be like, yo, sir, we might have to report you because that's, you're like, oh, but I'm coming to, you know. What I prefer, which is always dangerous, is to speak to people around you that you're comfortable with. It's just most of them are not wise or have the right advice. Amajida will sell you down the river. What? That's bad advice. So you almost want to find the right type of elders that you spend time with in spaces. And that becomes your therapy. Somewhere where you can offload and get advice. So I do believe in real therapy, the core of therapy. I don't believe in formalized. Lentifana and healthcare. I don't like medicine as an industry. I think the medical industry is about pushing drugs. Pharmacies and doctors are about prescriptions and pushing drugs and not curing you. But I love healthcare as a core because healthcare is about curing you. And some of the things you need is just stop eating junk, exercise, puzamanzi. But your doctor will never say that. Your doctor will be like, let me prescribe something quick. You know, so therapy is the same. I do believe in healing, opening up, getting counsel. But I don't like formalized therapy. Andrew Tate was very good in being a voice for many boys and men that were not heard at a time when boys and men needed it. Another guy would be Jordan Peterson at the time, you know. These guys came and they said things that guys were like, yeah, you know, this is what we want to hear. My only criticism of Andrew was that at that time, some of these things would bash women unnecessarily, and he was not giving context. If I come here and I'm like, as a man, you must provide for your family. Because I name you, but you guys don't have jobs and you don't have money. That's bullshit. I need to be like, look, ideally as a man, provide for your family. But then if you don't have money, work in partnership with your woman. Come together and try and solve problems. And understand that you won't be a provider. Which means she might have to make certain decisions that you won't like because it's her money. Respect her at that point because she deserves that leadership. Because it's her money. When I'm also grand, and if psychologically you feel like, hey, she's got more money, I feel less of a man. Go be with another broke chick. So that you broke together but you feel like a man. This is advice, right, for you. But if I'm like, guys, provide, why are you not providing for your woman? Because I'm not mine. What the fuck? So if I want to speak to, the thing about boys and men and women, and then people jump in, you're like, hey, just be very careful. Because the guy giving you the advice has got a fuckload of cash, he moves in a different way. Take the advice that makes sense to you, but be careful of some of the other advice because you're like, I know this one is not for me. There's a topic I've got for Dope Conversations, my one platform next week, and one of the topics is women are not safe spaces for vulnerable men. Women have not been trained to be able to be therapists, especially your woman. Your woman wants to be Superman, and you probably lied and shared about your capabilities. And now when you're being emotionally available and vulnerable, you're exposing your weaknesses, and she won't forget them. And the day she becomes angry, how women lash out. So when she gets angry, they're shy, they're physical. When a woman gets angry, it's verbal, and she normally wants to hit the thing that you're most sensitive about. So small dick, fucking your friends, your mom. What kind of remark is fair? Who are you? My baby. That'll break you. And you're like, because I exposed that my sibling has another father, you're gonna weaponize that against me? So women have not been trained in how to be sensitive when a man opens up. They take that and they weaponize it against you to a point where the first time you open up to a woman, the way she responds, but what kind of a man doesn't have money? In future, you'll never open up to her again when you don't have money. Now, it's so ish. Because you're scared of the backlash. So when you are being emotionally vulnerable, as a man, try to assess the environment you're in and the person you're opening up to, and make sure that it's a safe space. I mean, I'm very emotionally vulnerable, and I talk about my life on social media. I mean, I get attacked, even by my cheat. But because...
How are you emotionally available?
I get attacked on social media, and even by my cheat, but because I'm swine, I don't care. But for normal people, it's not great. I speak to my brother. My brother's pretty great. He's my younger brother, but I speak to him as if he's my older brother. I've opened up a lot to my mom. I'm opening up less now because I realize that she's a woman and there's certain things she can't handle. Even when I open up to her, she's a woman. So for example, some of my woman issues, we have ish. I'm like, listen to me. I've got friends close to me that I open up to. And then romantic partners, if they are safe spaces, you open up, and if it's someone that you think you can build with, she'll give you good advice. And she wants you to win, and she wants you guys to win. And as of the last couple of months, my oldest son is 14. Me and that guy have started opening up to each other. I say certain things to him, he tells me, I think that was a bad decision. He's like, no, bro, I think you're dope. And he'll tell me, he's like, but you're different, you're not like other people, so why are you comparing yourself to other people? I'm like, I says, you're a smart lighter. He's like, well, I'm your lighty. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're my lighty, so of course you're smart. I don't know if that answers your question. There's things like diaries as well. I don't know if you're asking how to be. Things like diaries.
Asking, like, to what level are you emotionally available? Are you emotionally available? Because Andrew Tate, most of the time, he speaks of as if men don't have emotions. So what I want to know is, to what level are you emotionally?
Don't trust Andrew Tate. To be honest, don't trust anyone on the platform. Don't trust anyone on the platform. Take the advice that works for you, and then the rest. I have to make a video about Mdhlalose, for example. She made an open letter about being hit by Leroy. And like my opening for that video is going to be like, celebrities are not real people. Just be very, very careful. There's a lot of performing. So Andrew Tate has got a brand, and it works for him. And part of that brand, 50 Cent is the same. Part of that brand is to be hard. I'm a fucking thug. Those guys break. They just won't do it in front of you. So if you're like, no, don't Tate. Hey, I do Tate cries like a bitch when he's at home. Just take the things that make sense to you. I think all men need to have an outlet, a healthy outlet. Sometimes that outlet is running. Long distance. Boxing, punching bag. That love spending time with their kids. That like taking drives. Some men that like being pampered. Massage, I think my brother's one of the Europeans that does all these weird things. So find the things that work for you, but just make sure that you're healthy. You mustn't feel like you're tense. You're going home and you can feel your body. You're going to your woman and you already feel like you probably have to lie about something. You're going to a magic and you're acting like it's cool. You have to pretend you have money you don't have. Those are not safe spaces for you. Go somewhere else and release and find good advice. I hope I've answered you.
And then at the same time, are you able to, do emotions affect your I don't know how to ask this, but do emotions affect the way you work on, like, day to day, your work, productivity, as per se?
Yeah, I think we're all emotional beings. And I think especially for men, some of the work we don't do anymore is to become emotionally strong. You're meant to let your emotions have a very small impact on your work. But they do. Because when people criticize you, even me on social media, I read what people say about me. But because I've trained myself, use Mbali or some random person I don't know, they don't affect my life. You know, but I catch feelings. I just try to process them. And more of us need to do that. And I think a part of that is taking on risky projects. Something like starting a business is hard. But I promise you, if you do it to the best of your ability, it trains you. You lose money. You deal with my clients that complain, but fight Facebook. This Don stole my money, what? I said, come on, man, no, sorry, we didn't receive the POP. But it trains you to be harder. Do the things that are tough. I mean, I just told you guys, being a parent, anyone who's a parent, that's training. Because kids and patience, late night, you're here. Imagine you can't throw the child against the wall. You have to calm down, bro. There was a day I left my brother with my son, and I came back, his top was off, he was sweating. And he walked away. I was like, my son broke him. So having children trains you. Being in a relationship is an extreme sport. Being in a relationship is an extreme sport. So Mdhlalose will train you. Starting businesses. Yeah, that balancing act. So I admire someone like Jacob Zuma. I think just the way he's lived his life in politics, being criticized, having different wives, having different kids, you're forced to accept criticism, and at some point you don't feel it as much. I think like a boxer, when my hits but the rest you're like, so indulge in life, but be aware that I'm trying to train my mind. And the things that you're scared of, do them, but manage them. Do them slowly so that you're strong. Because we are all emotional beings. It's just some of us react differently. There are people in my life, like my brother, who catch feelings when they see people talking shit about me on socials. I just laugh. Forget this. How would you try that? Then you'll tweet there, you must come say this to my face. He's like, calm down, bro. No one has time for that. That could be a student at TUT or Ichire. A fat black pen, piece of shit. Andrew Benson is here, like, I'm saying that to his face. So just train your mind. But emotions will affect you. It's just how you bounce back. Yeah. So we've got two more. So, Ashley?
Yeah. My question is solely based on your conversation with Mr. Abba. So in your conversation, you spoke about privilege. So I want to ask you, as I know that when growing up you were pretty privileged, and Mr. Abba also was privileged. Yeah. So do you think privilege and having access when growing up brings adversity?
Adversity?
Yeah.
Challenges?
Confusion, yeah. Because with Mr. Abba,
sure,
he grew up well, but sure, he just couldn't get the tricks, and he was lost in. That's what led him to the search, going through body system, belief systems a lot, just that kind of confusion.
No, privilege can definitely do that. Is the short answer to your question. What struggle does, struggle gives you a purpose. If you grow up in a squatter camp, your purpose in life is to get your family out into Ekas. If you grow up Ekas, your ambition in life is to get out and move to the suburbs. If you live in the suburbs, you've seen people with mansions, your ambition is to, the black people during apartheid, their purpose became overthrowing the apartheid government, and that became their struggle. Today we speak about the economic struggle and not what. What privilege, specifically financial privilege, does is it takes away struggle. And it leaves you without a purpose. That's why so many kids of rich people take drugs. Some commit suicide. In Silicon Valley, for example, a lot of the kids of millionaires and billionaires take their lives. And you're like, "Kanjani?" They don't have a purpose. It's a condition called existentialism, where you can't figure out why am I here. The poor kid, when you ask why you're here, that's the driving factor. My time I was in prison and I'm positive to the youth. But if it's like you come from, well, my parents have 6 cars, we live in a mansion, my parents give me 10,000 rand pocket money a month, I don't know, maybe let me snort some coke. I don't know, bro. Fuck. And they get up to doing shit because they don't know what to do. And I think, I'm not speaking for Abba, I'm speaking as a general. I think because of the privilege he had, he also probably started on a journey of being like, why am I here? What am I doing? And it's a journey he's been on, and luckily it's led him to a good path where he is now. Most other people really struggle. And it's one of the things many of us need to be worried about if we ever get to a point where we have money. Don't steal your child's struggle. Whatever that struggle may be, don't overcompensate. My dad wasn't around, therefore I'll give you everything. No. Your dad not being around was not great, but you are strong today because you had to learn to do things yourself. Be present, support, but let your child also earn. Let them know. Would say, I bought this car. Like my dad said, if you can get 30% of the money, I'll put the 70. So as much as my dad funded it, I also had to hustle for it. My mom pays for my flat, for example, at UCT, but she doesn't pay for the electricity and whatnot. She said, go get a job, hustle, do something. It can't be that way, NJ. Everything is smooth. If you take away someone's struggle, they are left with nothing. The whole point of life, to be honest, is struggle. How do I move from 85 subscribers to 850 to 8,005? That's a struggle. Go through it, Tshwane. Like, make more videos. Your content sucks. I see your audio. So you work through it. But when you've got everything, what now? I don't know. So, thanks, Ashley. Last question, sir.
I had 2 questions, but I think I'm going to try and merge them to the best of my ability. So, I'm speaking based on the floor and ceiling effect. I'm not sure if you follow me. So right now, you're in the ceiling.
Ceiling?
Yeah.
I'm at the floor. Hey, people don't know what I mean.
Okay.
I'm sorry, please continue.
Yeah, so you're at the ceiling of what is right now with YouTube in SA, right? And then you get someone like Mbali over there, and then she's starting up. You know, she's not there yet understanding what makes it work. So with where you've been and it having different formulas. For instance, back when I was in primary, a lot of the people who were doing what we call today content at the time didn't even have the words for it, like content, influencer. But we were all here watching Yes Fish, for an example.
Hey, that's my boy. She's Hosan.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like he's related to my neighbors that I grew up with. Hosan and Gomez.
Yeah, that's the one.
Sure.
So he came up. It wasn't even the plan to make content for monetization.
Sure. When I got that fire,
at the time. And right now, we as a generation are mostly still watching them. Not to put out people like L Xulu and other people, Mara. Those people now have agendas because they understand those terms now. So it becomes a point where the ceiling now is locked out because of such things, such agendas, and the people at the floor here doing it for different reasons don't always meet the criteria of what the ceiling is, which is the agendas, the monetization, the sponsorships, everything that you basically spoke on today. So it comes to a point where with you at the top, you know, you speak a lot on how the agenda affects us, you know. But at the same time, with you being in the ceiling, what is really the agenda? Because a lot of the time you get to look at things as a black person, let me put it in that perspective, and you're like, well, that thing isn't necessarily for me, you know, as a black person. So how do I make this for us? But then you look at why that thing exists. For instance, you spoke on the little delivery toys that kids have. My younger sister has one, the ones from Checkers. You know, you look at them and you say, why is this there? You ask two very good questions there. But is this there to make the common delivery man a hero, or is it to condition the child to be a delivery man one day? But then you look at Tshwane, 20 years ago, 30 years ago now, I think, and there was a show on SABC one called Vela, and he was a hero. He was there, he was a delivery man, but he was their hero. Back then, yes, we understand the agenda was, because the shows were produced by white people, to make sure that black people understand that this is what you should see yourself as. But then we look at it 20 years from now, and we look at people who are thieves. We look at people who are this thing, who are heroes now, legends, you know, like Mam Koli, who recently passed. And she was there within that agenda, but she rose from that and became a hero from that. So with that said, what is necessarily behind, what is the thing behind the ceiling that's conditioning the whole thing to be that?
Jeez, what a smart question. 30 years ago, well, you can't say 30 years ago to Vedapi. Where do you know Vedapi from? Do you guys know Vedapi? Yeah. Yeah, you guys are old. For the guys that are taking notes, there's a guy called Chamath, Chamath, Palihaptia. It's a bit trickier to spell. So he visits an institution like yours in America called Stanford University, and is interviewed by one of the ladies there, one of the students there, and he speaks about worldviews and agendas, to your question. And he says, in his opinion, there's like 100 or 150 men that run the world. He doesn't say white men, but you can kind of gauge from what he's saying that it's 100 white men that run the world. And he managed in his life to get to a point where he broke through and got into the room where they make these decisions. It's not a physical room where they sit and they decide where the world is going, but it's just understanding that these are the people that influence. Like in South Africa, someone like Johan Rupert, who has a stake in most of our media platforms, who has a stake in most of our retail things, from alcohol to food to the blankets that we buy, to, you know, weird things. Oppenheimer family as well. So what Chamath was saying, one of the things he says in that interview is, what every person should be doing is trying to get as much money as possible. Which I don't agree with him, but I understand why he was saying that. He was saying get as many resources as you can. Figure out what your agenda is, and then take all those resources and put them in your agenda. Doesn't matter if people like your agenda or not. Could be homosexuality, could be the transgender community, could be women empowerment, it could be vendor boys, it could be girls from Kwamashu. Whatever your agenda is, and saying, my agendas, I want this group of people to be the most successful and the most influential people in the world, and make it happen, of which today, probably Jewish people tick that box. And when you have the money and you have that worldview, take all your resources and apportion them into systems that ensure that those agendas are being met. And when I spoke about attention capital, they just want your attention, and then they come to Penzo on Aqua and they're like, we want to sponsor your content. I'm like, it's water. It's not really an agenda. But I can tell you now, the profits of this, Bonaco's under Coca-Cola, the profits go all the way to the Coca-Cola company and whoever the shareholders are, including Warren Buffett. They've got a view on what they want the world to be, and they take those monies and they fund churches, schools, social media algorithms, platforms, etc., to push certain agendas and to make certain things not kosher, which eventually filters down, as Tony said, into your politics. Why is South Africa like this? Because someone somewhere decided to influence the United Nations, probably Bill Gates, to push for this certain thing. And that's why we're here today. For the individual, most of us, we come from homes that are not big mansions and our parents don't drive Ferraris. So most of our ambitions are to achieve what I guess used to be the American dream, which is I'd like a big home, I'd like a nice car, I'd like to marry someone who's quality, I'd like to have my 2 kids, I think my brother calls it 2.5 kids, according to stats. And I'd like to do the type of work that I enjoy. Either because I love my job as an engineer or I run a business that is dope, like Trip. And I've made it. And then once you get to there, depending on how quick you get there, you might see that there's another world out there of private jets and yachts and like shit. And then I think down. That's as the individual. So the part about a lot of people in podcasting or online content creation is people are just trying to make money. And this becomes one of the avenues because I had a job or I have a job, this supplements the money, or because I don't have a job, at least I make a little bit of money here. I'm trying to be an influencer because I saw Boy D, I saw Somizi, and make some money and get that for your family. There are very few black people in this country that have like a real agenda, number one, and also have an ability to influence that agenda. And most of them, they believe the influence requires money. And sometimes the influence doesn't require money, which is weird, but it's much harder without money. I'll give you a small example, even though there's a question mark on his name today because of some of the recent ways he's moved. But someone like Mdhlalose came out as a person who, we didn't know him as rich, and he's funding this and funding that. He just came out with a voice, and he got loud, and a lot of people liked what he had to say. And in that process, he attracted a lot of people with money. And I think where he is now, maybe he's working with some of those people, and I'm not sure what's going on in his life. I haven't seen him in a while. If your agenda is pro-black, make content. Your content doesn't have to be pro-black, to be honest. You can make Leon Schuster content and laugh at black people, and then take those profits and fund them into community programs that teach black kids skills. Tyler Perry, trash films that some people are like, they destroy the black community, takes that money, builds $1 billion studio, unheard of from a black person, hires many actors, black actors, script writers, people that, sorry?
Oh no, I was just saying that exploits them.
We don't know about exploit, that's another agenda. Created all these jobs and he's done something, So most people don't know what their agenda is because it's programmed for them. When you ask them questions, you listen to what they say, and it's like I'm hearing a script that I once saw before. Hey, what kind of job do you want? No, I just want something that will challenge me and allow me to grow, and where I'll make sure I can provide for my family. How much do you want to make? No, not a lot. I just want to be comfortable. What? What the fuck does that mean? No, I just want to be able to afford, the thing. It's a script. Everyone fucking got the same script somewhere, and you hear people recite the same script. And that script is dictated by some of these people. To what you're saying about the ceiling and the agenda, most of it is selling products, services. Most of it is dumbing down, not just South Africans, but the whole world. The whole world is stupid, by the way. And almost making it seem really impossible to ever break through. And the people that run the biggest corporations, banking and money is one of the mafias that runs the world. The pharmaceutical industry is another one. We need to stay drugged up, because if we're drugged up, then we can't think. Another one is, I guess we'll link it to drugs, alcohol, cigarettes. I know some of you smoke hubly, vape. Those things are toxic to your body. They're fucking you up. And it works because it's cool. All the hands are there. Shy pipe, keeping to both sides of their mouth. You know, listening to Amapiano, where some of us grew up on hip hop. I'm old. Where hip hop was an institution, where you listen to a hip hop song and come out with knowledge. Today you listen to an Amapiano song and you can't tell me how you can apply that in real life and it changes your life. It's a good song, it's dope, it's fucking amazing, and it allows you to be in a good space. But realistically, you're not learning anything, and there's a reason why what we used to call conscious hip hop was dumbed down or was kept out. And the commercial stuff, the bling bling and the girls with their fucking asses bouncing up, that's the stuff. Because it doesn't do anything to build you. You know, here and there they let guys seep through the cracks, a J. Cole, a Kendrick Lamar. But more than anything, the guys who are making the most money are the mambo rappers who are not really talking about anything, and there's lime green Lamborghinis in their videos. So that is the agenda. You can play into it and try and win, or you can have your own. And that's where even people like but when we start going on different journeys of what exactly do we want? Let's assume we were privileged and we didn't have the black struggle and there was no apartheid and black people were poor. What do you want? And that's where you appreciate guys like Elon Musk who comes and says, why aren't we going to the moon? We're like, bro, there's world hunger. It's like, fuck world hunger. I want something else. Sorry? You know, you want to find black people that also have the same, where their thinking is just in the stratosphere. It's like poverty is engineered. Monkeys and chimpanzees are not poor and they're not hungry, but they don't have RDPs, they don't have grants, they don't have farms, but they have food. So there's something wrong somewhere. But you must figure out for yourself what that thing is. And because you guys are in an educational institution, obviously I can't tell you fuck school, but I can say that while you're here, use this space for your progression. Networking is one of them. Some of the people you want to do business with are the people you met here, that are going to give you opportunities to jobs, are going to be here, that are going to fund your businesses. Try and find good partners, man, and have relationship experience. Try and use the resources here, whether it's free Wi-Fi, if you can maybe supply the institution. I think that's one of the things varsity students don't speak about enough. Who is running the businesses on campus? Who is getting the tenders for campus? And why is it not you guys? You know, there's a great program being run at UKZN by a lady that I've known for a long time, and her entrepreneurship class is all about starting businesses that start functioning while they're students. And some of the students are suppliers to the varsity while they're students. It's like, oh no, cleaning. I pay to him. Put pen, I'm in third year, but yeah, if you see any cleaners around campus, that's me. And you're like, that's fucking dope. You know, so acquire skills, meet people, enjoy the ride. The real world outside there is tough. And this is a very safe space. It's so safe. I'm a godfather on campus. But about SRC, we push Kada. You know, because the real world is tough out there. Yeah, I think that's all from me. But I want to say this. I appreciate being invited, man. Lee, thank you for seeing me. I see you so much, and thank you to all the people that organized. I heard today from Tyrone that there are so many things happening on campus. Apparently it's a very busy day, and for you guys, again, Attention Capital, to choose to come here means a lot to me. I hope you learned something. I'm gonna need each and every one of you, man, to work much, much harder in whatever you're doing. The reality is the real world doesn't give a flying fuck about each of you. You can get depressed and commit suicide tomorrow. We'll keep moving. You're just a fucking number. The only person that will change you from being a number to being a somebody is you. That means working hard. It means showing up. It means taking advantage of the opportunities available. It means working to try and better your family and your community. And it means trying to get all the greatest opportunities out there. Travel overseas if there's a chance. Travel around this country, get on a fucking bus, go sleep at a backpackers, and travel and explore. Open yourself up, and just be hungry to live. Just be hungry to live. The world is actually here for us to enjoy it. I know this is not part of the script, you weren't taught. The world is actually here for us to fucking enjoy it. And most of us are not, because we're in survival mode, because it's manufactured. Go out there and fucking live. Yeah. Penuel the black pen. I think I'm done.
Today, I can't imagine my price today. Niggas been thinking for eyes today. Never been thinking about price today. Life seasonally, I cannot think about scrutiny. I make my flame of my business. I'm a brand of my business. Life seasonally, I cannot think about scrutiny. I make my flame of my business. I'm a brand of my business. I don't smoke.